Hey guys, Lacey Megan here. We're going to go ahead and get started with this series all on nutrition planning for busy nursing students and busy nurses. We know that eating all of the junk that's in the break room is sometimes all we have time for, but you'll find that if you have a plan and you know what you want out of your nutrition, you are going to be so successful. So in this video, we're going to focus on the top tips for those of you that work long shifts, which is most nurses, and how to remain fueled, healthy, and happy during those shifts so that you are better able to serve all of your patients and everybody else around you. So stay tuned, let's get started. All right, let's get started. So first and foremost, I want you to know that this does not have to be overcomplicated. I have so many nurses and nursing students that make this meal prep thing so challenging. How many times have you gotten onto the floor either in clinical or during day shift or night shifts and it gets crazy busy? And then by the time 12 hits, you're like, oh my God, I haven't eaten, I'm starving, I'm gonna run down to the caf and binge on some pizza. Or I'm gonna go to the break room and somebody ordered us a ton of subs, or whatever it is that you have, and you end up making these pretty poor decisions. And after you eat it, you kind of feel sluggish and maybe the rest of your day is a little bit thrown off. Anybody else ever felt like that? I've definitely had those days. So if you've had those days in the past, know that it's okay. We all have them. Nursing is crazy. We're taking care of other people's lives and we're putting them before us constantly throughout the entire day. That is what we do as healthcare professionals. We love it. But we do need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves first, because I will say that when I do plan ahead for my meals and for my nutrition, I do better on the unit. And the reason why is because I'm fueling myself properly. I'm paying attention to me first. So first and foremost, I want you to know that all of those limiting beliefs you have about whether or not you have the time to meal prep, whether or not you have the time to eat or drink water during your shift, you need to pluck those out of your brain and leave them somewhere else. Because I'm telling you right now, you cannot take care of other people to the best of your ability if you are not taking care of yourself first. So let me just tough love on you real quick and tell you that all of that pushback that I get of, oh my gosh, well, I can't drink that much water because I'm going to pee 45 times in a shift. Or, oh my gosh, I can't plan like that because I don't have the time. Well, listen, if you're not planning because you don't have the time, or if you don't drink water because you're too afraid you're going to pee a bunch, really what you're saying is that your health right now is not your priority and everything else is. And that's not okay. It's not okay for you. It's not okay for your family. And it's not okay for your patients that you're taking care of every single day. Because really, like I said, you aren't being your best self if you're not treating and fueling yourself the best you possibly can. So let's go ahead and get started with the actual meal prep. Now that you've plucked out those limiting beliefs and you have left them outside, we're going to focus on some things that you can do in order to get started right now with your meal prep. First and foremost, I want you to pick a day. I say first and foremost a lot, but I want you to pick a day that you can meal prep and that you can set aside time to focus on you and what you're going to be eating for the whole week. Now, I'm going to tell you, my husband and I spent about 4 hours today planning for our week of food. Now, 4 hours in the grand scheme of the week is nothing. That means we planned it, we grocery shopped, and we cooked all in that 4 hours. It's done. We know what we're going to be eating when we're eating it throughout the entire week. And now we've saved money and we've saved time. So let's go ahead and move on to what it actually should look like for you. In the planning phase, it should take you about 45 minutes when you first start. Now, I've been doing this for 2.5 years, so it's taking me a lot less time. Took me about 20 minutes today, and that will happen to you too if you stick with it. This is something that we talk about a lot in my online health and fitness groups that are geared strictly towards nurses and nursing students. We focus on these things, we learn these things together, and that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. So spend about 45 minutes, or expect to spend that amount of time just planning out your meals for the day and your grocery list. Make sure that you do create a grocery list, because if you don't create that grocery list, you are so much more likely to make massive mistakes when you go to the grocery store and buy a little bit of everything. Also, another quick little tip, eat before you go to the grocery store so you are not over purchasing things simply because you're hungry up here and down here and you're thinking about all of these yummy things that you want that you don't necessarily need for your week. So that's the first part of planning. Now you've gone to the grocery store. It takes everybody different amounts of times, so I don't allot a specific amount of time for that. It takes us about 45 minutes, again, to do that. Then your actual cooking and planning should take you between 2 and 3 hours. For us, I'm going to be honest, we eat the same breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the entire week, usually 5 to 6 days out of the week, because we don't want to spend the rest of the day planning. Now, I know that you guys work 12-hour shifts, and as nurses, we do work weekends, so you need to decide ahead of time what week or what weekday you're going to do this, weekend or weekday. Either Sunday, Monday, or Saturdays even are really good times to do this, to plan ahead for the rest of the week. Now that we've gone over the planning, let's move on to what the meals actually look like. So before, in the past, I used to do portion control. I used to eat 6 meals a day, which I didn't mind, but I did find that it was challenging for myself and other nurses to keep up with that over time because we're busy. So I have found a much better method. And this is not a method that I came up with myself. It's actually a method that I've learned within my health and wellness group. If you ever want to learn more about my health and wellness group, all you have to do is email me or message me and we can chat about it. So this method is called the Plate It method, and I do have some plates for you to show you exactly what it looks like. So I don't know the exact size of this. I believe it's 18 inches. This is the plate that I use for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if I'm using a plate. This would be the plate that I use for snacks. So you can see comparable in sizes. Most plate settings come with both. So I believe this is 12 inches. So 18 and 12 inches, I think, is what I have here. Honestly, that's not something I stress out a ton about, and you shouldn't either. Don't freak out like, oh my God, I don't have any 18-inch size plate. Okay, it's fine. It's totally fine. This is the reason this method works, and the reason I love this method so much is because I don't have to stress out about weighing my food or counting calories or putting things into containers. All I get to do is look at the plate and see, are my food groups matching up my ideal plan? And now let's talk about that ideal plan. What does it look like? So we're going to start with breakfast. For breakfast, before I even get started with the meals, there's a couple main food groups that I utilize. There's 3 particular groups: proteins, veggies, and carbs. Now, a lot of you are like, okay, well, wait, what about like proteins and sugars and fats and like all of these things? I don't worry about that. I worry about these 3 things, and it has so far in the past 6 months helped me so much, and I think it will help you too. So for breakfast, my plate has 50% protein and 50% carbs. Let's take a second here to talk a little bit about carbs. What does that mean? So for carbs, we want something called fiber-filled carbs, especially as nurses or as busy people. Fiber-filled carbs are carbohydrates that have a ton of fiber in them. Why fiber? Because fiber gives us that extended energy throughout the day. It's so much better for us than things like potato chips, which is strictly a carb. It only gives you those carbohydrates, that immediate energy, or that sugar that might sit. These are also the things that are going to cause a ton of insulin resistance. For those of you that are like, oh my God, I have a ton of diabetic patients, like these are the things that will cause that, or processed or unprocessed and processed flours will cause that as well. Not unprocessed, processed flours. So whole wheat flour is the type of thing that you need in your diet. So whole wheat breads are considered a fiber-filled carb. Fruits are considered a fiber-filled carbohydrate. That's why we don't have a separate fruit group, because this is the group that it fits into. Other things, I'm going to read off of a list for you guys of a couple different things so you can get ideas of what you can use as carbs. So for carbs, we have beans and legumes, so things like bean pasta or black beans, fava beans, any type of beans, hummus, kidneys. Those are some perfect, kidney beans are perfect things that can fit into that group. Other things like apples, fruits, any types of fruits, grapefruit, grapes, guava, mangoes, oranges, papaya, yum, quinoa, Whole wheat tortillas, whole wheat breads, sandwich breads. I use Dave's bread. It's my favorite. It's amazing. And they have so many different flavors and options of bread, which sounds weird, but it's fantastic. You should totally check it out. Let's see. What else can you have? Lima beans, green peas, corn, pinto beans, vegetarian refried beans. All of these things are considered fiber-filled carbs. These are carbs that are going to be better for you when you're considering what types of carbs you should be eating in your diet. So in the morning, I usually have a shake. In that shake, I put my fruit. So now I have carb and I have protein. That's my breakfast. In terms of timing, I usually drink this during shift change. So when I am giving report or getting report, when I'm getting report. So either at 7 p.m. or 7 a.m., depending if you're working day or night shift, that's how I do that. Then that holds me over usually for about 3 to 4 hours before my lunch. Now my lunch is usually my plate is going to look like, so I know some of you are like, but Lace, I'm not taking a plate to work. I would use this. For your first couple times, what I would do is first put it on a plate, measure it out on the plate, don't do any other measurement, and then put it into your container to take to work, okay? So for lunch, you're going to have 50% vegetables. So now your vegetables start to come in. You're going to have 50% vegetables, 25% protein, and 25% carb. So this could be a salad with a piece of whole wheat bread. This could be a sandwich where you've loaded it up with veggies, or even having a salad on the side with your turkey sandwich or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be complicated. Whatever is easiest for you to eat at work, that's what you need to plan. It doesn't have to be crazy. As you noticed, your carbs went from 50% to 25%, and so did your protein. Your protein changed a little bit for lunch too. The reason we eat carbs earlier in the day, so for breakfast and lunch, is because carbs give you sustained energy over the day. By the time you get to nighttime or morning time for you night shifters, you don't need that sustained energy anymore because your body's getting ready to go to sleep. So even though you may feel tired and like you are craving carbs and you want some carbs, you don't need them if you're going to be going to sleep soon. If this is your last meal before sleep, you need no carbs. That's when carbs start to turn into sugar and fat, is when you are not burning them off throughout your day, and instead you're eating them right before you go to sleep, and it becomes some stagnant energy instead of the energy that you can utilize throughout your shift. Now, for dinner, I always have 50 or 75%, so 75% of my plate, which is going to now be the majority of my plate, is going to be veggies. And 25% is going to be protein. Now, this could be a turkey burger on a salad or a bed of lettuce. This could be spaghetti squash with meatballs. There's so many different options out there. For us, for this week, we are making a cauliflower stir fry with soy bites. And the stir fry is all vegetables, and the soy bites are our protein. There is no carb included in this. And that's exactly the idea with eating before you go to sleep. Now, for those of you that work night shift, when you wake up, that's going to start your entire day. So consider that. You start your breakfast once you wake up, just like somebody that wakes up in the morning does. Don't worry if earlier in that day you already ate a little bit. It's okay. Every time you go to sleep and you wake up, it starts fresh. That's how I utilize it, and it has been working amazing for me for the past 2 years. My other tip is going to be, before every single meal, you need to make sure that you are drinking at least 16 to 30 ounces of water. This does 2 things for you. It helps you avoid overeating, and it fills you up. And number 2, it helps you avoid dehydration. When you're dehydrated, you lose energy. How many of you guys drink coffee during your shifts? Hello. Yes, if you're drinking coffee, you are becoming more dehydrated. Coffee dehydrates. So you need to make sure that you are rehydrating yourself with water, and sometimes that can be hard during the shift. So make sure you down some water before you eat your food. Another little tip that I do is in between each patient, I try to take a swig of water. I will leave it outside their room, on the little cubby outside of their room, and I'll drink some water. If you can do that, try to do that. If you can't do it, I understand. Whenever you go to the bathroom, drink water. Whenever you can get yourself off the unit, drink some water. Focus on water because it will give you energy. Dehydration brings your energy down. Rehydration brings it back up. Okay, so focus on hydrating yourself. It's gonna help you so much with your energy levels and to avoid that overeating and wanting things like carbs throughout your shift. All right, guys, so this is just the first episode and the first segment of this. We're gonna have so many more things for you. I also have a little bit of a bonus for you guys. So I know you're probably like, okay, great, she told me all of these things, but how do I do it? I created a PDF just for you. It's super simple, super easy so that you can get planning right now today. So check out the link underneath this video and that will take you straight to the PDF that you can print out and use to create your grocery list and your meal plan for the rest of the week. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. Make sure that you comment below if you have any questions or if anything was super helpful to you that opened your eyes a little bit and that you're gonna be able to try over this next week or during your next shift. Bye, guys. Have a great day.